Hey, Triple Fivers, Andrew here. Hope you're doing well. I am back at it with an old school boot review with a brand I haven't featured on the channel, but I bet it's a brand you've heard of. This is Merrell. They've made a heritage boot. Can you believe it? This is the Wayfarer. It is a 7-inch waterproof boot utilizing Horween leather. It is made in China, and it is a limited edition run. They've actually sent me a prototype. It's the first prototype boot I think I featured on the channel, as a matter of fact. And in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a close look at this boot. Came very nice. This black leather came in pristine condition. It actually came with a little, what you call a kilty in the tongue. I've worn these boots now for about a month of very regular wear, and I'm wearing them at a time of year where these boots were perfect. It's early spring in Minnesota. We had a ton of snow in February and in March, and it was cold some days, like below zero, and other days it was 40 degrees. I got a chance to wear these in a huge variety of conditions. I'm going to actually roll in some footage of me walking through some huge puddles. It was just wild wearing these things. And so I feel like even though I haven't had a long time to break these boots in, I can give you a good assessment of their quality, as well as some of the real concerns that I have with these boots, having not only worn them, but also gotten a chance to see how they have broken in. So in this video, we're going to cover all of that. We'll give you a great look at the overall construction and build of these boots, and I think you should be able to walk away with a good sense of whether these boots are going to be good for you. All right, here is a close look at the Merrell Wayfarers. As you can see, I straight away removed these off of the tongue. I just didn't care for that extra ornamentation. Not a Midwest thing really, but if you were, down south, I could see how that might be an aesthetic that you're looking for. You have a boot that, once that's removed, to me the profile really is that of a combat boot, and I had some comments along those lines too. And we will take a look not only at the outside details of the boot here, but also the inside, which I think there's some very interesting things to see here. But before we do that, I do actually want to show you what's in the box. As I mentioned, this is a prototype boot, so not everything is going to necessarily be the same in the production version, but it's still interesting to see what they're giving us. First of all, big boot dust bags. This is really for the collector. Having dust bags is one other way to just ensure that you're not going to have to polish your leather or have to clean them after you've been wearing them. Comes in a big blue box. And here are the things that I wanted to show you. First of all, information on this limited edition, that they're only making 1,000 of these Wayfarer boots. And then this is the really important part. What is the leather that you're getting on these boots? Because that is the main appeal, in addition to the heritage style. That is Horween leather, which of course is a tannery in Chicago, famous for their extremely high quality leather. It's definitely best in business quality leather, really nice stuff. And what they have on the Wayfarers is an interesting waterproof chrome excel leather. Now, chrome excel refers to the way that it's tanned. It's a chrome tan, which is a very robust and rich style of tanning. And as you can see, the version that they have in the Wayfarers is called Buccaneer leather. This is the first time I've had this Buccaneer leather in a pair of boots. It's the first time that I've received a pair of Horween leather boots where the leather itself is the reason why the boots are waterproof, and not the lining or something like that. So this is an exciting, unique feature. If you love Horween leather, you want the Chicago, USA made leather, and you need something waterproof, that is one unique feature of the Wayfarers. Because of this unique blend of leather, I was very interested in seeing how it would break in. And as you can see, there was definitely some very heavy creasing after about a month of wear, especially in the mid-ankle section of the boot. And you can see that it's pretty permanent. Like, this isn't just because I'm not wearing the boots or something. This is permanent creasing in the leather. To me, that's something that will be a care issue after a long time. This is a place where if that wrinkling isn't properly tended to, if it isn't properly conditioned, you will have cracking and you will have breakage there. And so this is one place where immediately I saw that as a concern. It isn't necessarily a flaw as much as it is just a design choice, a materials choice with this special buccaneer leather. Taking a closer look at it, you can see that this leather doesn't have a ton of depth, but it is a very nice sheen of black, and there's not a lot of grain visibility. That's just a design choice again. Give you a good look at the stitching here. Stitching after a couple weeks has been solid. No problems or concerns with that. Nice quality stitching around the midsole too. On the back here. Would have been nice if there was a little bit more leather here, just as far as getting the boots on your feet. And then just a plain cap toe style boot the way it is. This boot is unlaced. You know, as I mentioned, these are prototypes, and so one of the things that it's a little odd in the press copy that I received for this boot is that the final versions of these are going to have some features that this boot specifically doesn't have. First of all, this boot is not lined with any kind of fabric, or I think the sheepskin is what the production version is going to have. You can see here that these are a sample, and then so that's one thing that's an interesting thing, because I think it would be a complaint of mine that this light leather on the inside, first of all, I'm not sure, is this also the same Horween leather? It doesn't look like it is. It's definitely prone to staining and rubbing from the tongue in there, that kind of thing, which isn't attractive. And then the second thing that's different is that on the inside, the insole is not removable in these particular examples that I have. So this insole looks like it's meant to be something that you can pull out, but as a matter of fact, when I tried to pull it out, I was clearly going to tear the thing out before I was able to get it out. So you do see you have a handsome limited edition Wayfarer patch. This is something you've seen on other heritage boot designs, just a little bit of extra ornamentation there. A combination of kind of raw leather stitching with padded leather. This is a padded tongue, and then we have a padded collar around the top of the boot as well, and that is an interesting, again, a style choice where this is going to be more comfortable to wear. You don't always have to wear knee-length socks with boots like this. Some nice waterproof embossing here, and then on the tongue itself you have a sewn Merrell patch, which to my eyes is really quite an attractive patch. Nice way to go, a little bit above and beyond with the styling here. But when you start actually unlacing these boots, you get a better sense of the quality of the construction. And so I do want to spend a little bit of time on that, just because these are going to be, for sure, if you're paying full retail, paying quite a bit. And one of the things that you'll observe right away is that this is not a fully gusseted tongue, which is significant as far as waterproofing is concerned, because it's only going to be waterproof as far as the tongue is gusseted. And as you saw, I had some interesting times with these boots with the massive melt off here in Minnesota, and so wearing these boots through puddles up to my ankles, I did find that in general my feet were kept dry and the leather held up to the task, but as far as the you know, if I had to like really crick stomp in these, you're going to have water coming in where the tongue isn't gusseted. And maybe in the final versions that's going to be changed. I don't know. Here we can get a better look about the inside of the boot. You can see that there's a more abrasive piece of leather back here, some extra reinforcement. You can also see that, and again, I think this will be changed in the final production version, but down here you can already see a little bit of leather separation here in the heel. So nice heel counter here, but then down here in the actual insert there's some leather separation happening down there, which is not the end of the world, not deeply concerning, but noteworthy. As far as the quality of the construction of a boot, it's kind of like you can tell on the inside of the boot how much care has really gone into the boot by looking at details like, let's see if I can show you this. The fact that this is a Chinese constructed boot really becomes more clear when you're looking at like the bottom of the tongue, which is a place that, granted, most consumers are not going to be looking, and it's even hard to capture on camera. But yeah, you can see down here that this is just not pretty. There's some kind of ugly finishing at the base of the tongue where it's attached to the rest of the boot. So that's where I think you're seeing sort of the limits of the Chinese production on these boots. Also, with this kind of vintagey, stacked leather look, I found that with salt especially, you're quickly getting a lot of patina and wear there. So if you wanted to wear these kind of as a more formal boot, I don't think these would be the best choice. This is definitely rough already. I think that you would probably be looking at resoling these boots fairly quickly with this kind of interesting commando style outsole. I do like the combination of leather and rubber outsole, though. It's a nice compromise, I guess, and for sure in icy, snowy conditions, I greatly prefer these over your standard Red Wing soles that I'm typically finding in my heritage style boots. So if I had to summarize the things that I like the most about the Wayfarer boots, it is the excellent material choices with the Horween leather. Definitely for a non-lined boot, exhibited a high level of waterproofing on the leather itself. I like the comfort of these boots, especially with all the padded collars and pad tongues, the kind of insole that in this version, in this prototype, is glued, but was also padded. The break-in was non-existent with these boots, and that's something that's very different than typical heritage boots, is the break-in was very quick. Negatives would be, to me, the hardware is sort of very standard issue and uninspiring. Maybe, again, that's not the sort of thing that most people would be looking at, but just even in terms of like the thickness of these quick release eyelets. Just here I have a pair of Red Wings. These are Iron Rangers, of course. You just tell that there's a thicker, more robust choice of hardware in these. The outsole I like for its easy versatility. In the spring here in Minnesota, it was absolutely amazing. I do think that it's going to probably wear quickly. And also, of course, the thing that is probably the biggest concern of mine is just this heavy wrinkling that's happening in the ankle that will need to be conditioned regularly to ensure that there isn't cracking with this boot. And then, of course, finally, the last thing to just kind of talk about is heritage brands have a following. You buy a pair of Red Wings because you love Red Wings. You buy Nicks because you want a pair of Nicks. You buy 1,000-mile boots because they're the 1,000-mile boots. There's generally a lot of provenance attached with heritage brands. This boot doesn't have any of that. Of course, if you love Merrells and you've been wearing Merrells for your more technical boots, then this is a company that you may be familiar with, and that's a great thing. The retail price, $400. I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to end up actually really selling for that, even as a limited edition run, unless this is somehow like a surprise hit, which maybe it will. I have a feeling you'll be seeing discounts on these because I'm always seeing discounts on Merrells. Now at $400, absolutely not worth it, frankly. I would buy a pair of Red Wing Beckmans, or I mean, maybe even if you really wanted a serious pair of boots, you could go above Red Wing into the Alden territory for $400. But with the discounts that I expect on these, imagine these 40% off or so, then I think that you're looking at a very nice boot with a variety of features that are going to be very accessible for, say, around $200, $225. And in that case, then I think that as long as you were aware of what you were getting into, you liked the brand, and you wanted boots with these specifications. I don't know, again, you know, the final version may be lined. That's what the ad copy that I received is, that these are going to be lined in sheepskin, and that they're going to have a removable insole. If you want especially those features, then these will be really warm. They're already quite warm as they were with the extra lining, and I really like that actually. Sometimes just the straight heavy grain thick leather boots are not necessarily the warmest boots. You end up having to wear big wool socks, and I definitely did not need to worry about it with the Wayfarers. This is an interesting boot to bring to market. I hope that it is a successful market test, because I think that it would be great to see another brand that has some real history bringing these traditional styles available to a wider market. I think that they made a wise choice going with a well-known tannery for their leather choice. And overall, the construction, although not magnificent, is certainly adequate, especially for a Chinese-made boot. And I think that at a lower price, these will be competitive with some of the more known heritage brands out there. All right, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the Merrell Wayfarers, first heritage boots featured on Triple Fied Gear from this brand. Glad to see them come across my proverbial table. I think they are very handsome boots. They're very comfortable. I appreciate the excellent choice of leather. Some of my concerns are the rate in which these broke in, the level of wrinkling in the ankle especially, and also, because this is a prototype, some of the specifications and the ad copy on this don't match what I actually received, which just is something that you're going to want to keep in mind when you decide to purchase these boots, which if you do, I recommend, if it's going to happen, wait till they're on sale, because the initial buy-in of $400 is pretty steep for a mass manufactured boot made in China. All right, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if these are a pair of boots that you would check out. They are also available in brown, which I personally think is a nicer color for this style of boot, and they have the kiltie that you can also remove there in the brown ones. Maybe I should put them back on. Do you guys like the kiltie? I'm curious. That's the first time I've had a boot with a pair of those that were removable. Anyway, there you go. The Merrell Wayfarers. I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Please leave me a thumbs up if you're new to the channel here. Let me know what boots you'd like me to review in 2019, and let me know what your thoughts are about the current status of the heritage boot market. So if there's anything I need to learn about, you can get me up to speed. All right, thanks so much again for watching, guys. Take care.